Like the majority of our students' parents and grandparents, Immaculee Ilibagiza is a recent immigrant to the United States. Also, like our students' families, she left her home, Rwanda, due to internal conflicts there, the persistent threat of violence, and the desire for greater opportunities in life. Her parents, Marie Rose and Leonard, were the first in their families to graduate from high school, and they became teachers and respected community leaders in their hometown of Mataba. Immaculee is no stranger to the Jesuits. Her first cousin, Ganza, is a Jesuit priest, and she has spent many weekends at the Jesuit House of Prayer outside Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Immaculee survived a 91-day captivity hidden in a small bathroom, along with 7 other people, as ethnically motivated killings were happening right outside their door. She is the author of 2 books about those experiences, Left to Tell and Led by Faith, in which she relates not only the events of the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, but more importantly, her personal testament to how human beings can overcome unimaginable tragedies, since God's Spirit is at work in the world at all times, especially in bringing healing and reconciliation. For her efforts, Immaculee received the Mahatma Gandhi International Award for Reconciliation and Peace in 2007, as well as an honorary degree from the University of Notre Dame. Not too bad for a country girl from Lake Kivu. Immaculee lives in New York City with her husband and 2 children. I am pleased to welcome Madame Immaculee Ilibagiza as commencement speaker at Cristo Rey Jesuit High School's first graduation.
Thank you so much, Mother, for inviting me for a warm welcome. It's really a great joy and overexcited and somehow emotional to see you guys graduating. And I can only imagine the background of your life. I can only imagine what you must have overcome to be here today to graduate. High school is the best graduation you can get. It's the #1 big step into this life, and to know that you made it, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And I can congratulate your parents who have been behind you. I congratulate the school and the benefactors who have helped this school to be. It is just great effort and not so much loved. I've been here since morning, and I see you professors crying that we're leaving. I'm like, what is going on here? There's so much love here. And that really touched me deeply. And I wish you all the best. And I know you can do it, and you do it. And I want to share with you a little bit of what I have gone through during the genocide. And I see myself a little bit in you. The effort and not having much, but trusting and knowing that you can do it. I learned a lot from the experience I have lived throughout the genocide in 1994. I came from Rwanda. Rwanda is a small country that is located in the heart of Africa. And in my country, we have 2 main tribes, Tutsi and Hutus. And I belong to a tribe called Tutsi. My tribe was hated. And one time, the politicians in our country decided to kill my tribe. For the time we went through the genocide taught me so much. It was a painful time, but it taught me so much about life, and I really want to share with you. And among those lessons I learned was especially forgiveness. You will be hurt in life, but be willing to forgive. Even when you can't forgive, ask God to help you. to help you to let it go. It is a bad thing, but many times we have good reason to be angry, but it is possible to forgive. And forgiving doesn't mean that you accept the wrong to be done to you. It is being able to bless another person, to wish them to change, without making yourself a victim. I learned a lot about the power of love, the power of care. This school is here today because somebody cared, because somebody loved. 1994, I was a student, and I went home for Easter holiday. I was happy in my family. I was one girl among 3 boys. My parents were teachers, and I grew up in a place that, a family that loved me. And I never forgot the day it all changed. It was the morning of 7th of April, and my brother, who had just finished his master's degree, came to my room, pushed the door, and told me what happened, that the president of the country died. We went outside, we were scared, and from that moment on, the government gave order to kill everybody of my tribe, and anyone who is good to us, anyone. So they started killing, and in the middle of that madness, my parents sent me to hide to a neighbor who was from the other tribe. There's no such a thing as bad people or a group of people who are bad. There's always good people, no matter how they can call this group as bad. The people who were killing were supposed to be Hutu, but this is the person my parents sent me to was a good person. They trusted and loved. And that really left me with a lesson too. Why is he sending me to this man? Because he trusted him. Because he allowed him to be my father, to be a friend of this man. I remember as I was leaving, my father handed me the rosary. I came from a Catholic family, and I'm Catholic. That's rosary prayer. There's many types and have a ring of the rosary. I went to this man, he was a Protestant pastor. He put me to sit in a room, small, tiny room, around 3 in the morning. It was 3 by 4 feet. I remember thinking when I saw it first, I thought, I can't sit here, it's too small for me. He went back and brought 5 more women. Later he brought 2 more women. He told us not to speak to each other, not to make any noise, not even to flush the water of the bathroom until somebody else is flushing the water in the next bathroom. We didn't know why we were there, why we have to suffer so much. It was very painful to be there. The first time he was able to bring us food was 3 days later. And the food he could afford to give us was the leftovers of his children, because he couldn't afford to cook, because no one else knew we were there. Towards the end of the week, I was very angry. I thought if I ever came out, I was going to be a soldier and revenge my family. But whenever the moment really changed me was especially the first time they came to search for us. I remember asking to put a radio outside of the bathroom, and he put 3 radios, different channels. I couldn't believe what was going on in the country. The leaders of the country have ordered to kill everybody. They have killed people who have run to stadiums, to churches. Now they ordered to search in every home to see if anyone was hiding. The first time they came, I remember I was stretching, and I saw them outside. People I went to school with, people I can call friends, dressed in banana leaves and machetes. They came inside and they started to search everywhere. In that moment, I started to beg God to help me that they don't find the door of the bathroom. And I never felt like I had 2 voices on my shoulders. One telling me, they're going to find you, open the door. Another one telling me, don't give up, hold on, ask God to help you, to give you a sign that He's listening. Don't give it. And I begged God not to let them find the door. I think after that I fainted. It was a lot of pain to know that somebody who is trying to kill you is inches away from you, seconds away from you. After 5 hours, the man who was hiding us came to tell us what happened. They have come and searched the house in every single place you can think of. The top of the house, the ceiling, under the beds, and at last, they came right at the door of the bathroom. Before they opened, they told the man, you know, we trust you. You are one of us. You cannot hide those enemies of the country. And they left. From that second, I knew God was real. I am going to hold on to Him, and He is almighty. He can do all things. It's up to me to trust Him. It's up to me to dream what is possible. Not because I'm capable, but because He's there. From that second, I started to pray from morning until night. And I still had my anger because I thought, this is what you do. Another moment came when I was praying, especially this our universal prayer, our Lord's Prayer. And I remember reaching that part that said, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. I remember going through that, I'm like, oh, I'm lying, I can't be saying this. And at one time I realized those words were given by the one I believe is my God, Jesus. And if I truly believe in Him, I better learn that those words are true. He cannot make mistakes. He knew what He was talking about. It was the first time in my life I understood the meaning of surrendering. I went on my knees and I begged God, help me out to forgive. I don't know how to do it. Another moment came, and suddenly, after a lot of struggle, I realized that life is almost like divided in two parts. There is a part of people like Mandela, like Gandhi, like Mother Teresa, like the priest, like you all who are trying to do the best of your life. And a side of people like Hitler, Stanley, people who caused the genocide in Rwanda, who are causing wars. And we all have to choose, where do we belong? To the side of those who are killing and fighting and revenging, or to the side of people like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, but who are trying to bring people on this side. And suddenly, that's where I chose to be. I wanted to be like Martin Luther King. I wanted to be somewhere that is not violent. And it was that moment I realized, this must be what we call forgiveness. I would not hate the people who were killing us anymore, but I started to pray for them to change, to see the truth. I felt like huge luggage of anger have lifted out of my shoulders, and I felt so much better in my heart. I started to think, well, now I believe I'm going to survive, but what am I going to do? An idea came to my heart, learn English. What if you meet people who can speak English? Then I remember thinking, but I don't have a teacher. I'm in the bathroom. Something said, well, how are you talking now? You can learn from how you're doing it, from your heart. I asked the man to give me a book in English, in a dictionary, English, French, and I started to read word for word and looking in the dictionary, the meaning of every word. I have never been in the school of English. I have learned French. I taught my English in the bathroom without speaking from my heart. And I remember at the time, many times you think, but I don't have this. You want to do something, but I'm not strong enough. But I don't have good connection. If we truly want to do anything, it is up to us. It's the will that is lacking. The ways will come out, will come up. God will show you a way, and we have that capacity within us. We ended up staying in that bathroom 3 months, from April to July. Never spoke. Everything I was doing was through my heart. When I came out, the very first day, I found out that everyone in my family was killed. I was hoping that maybe they are still hiding, but they were killed. Mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunts, uncles, my 2 brothers, my neighbors, my schoolmates. It was like the end of the world. Those things you have read in stories can't be happening. But I felt like something in my heart was telling me, don't rush, don't die, be strong, do what is good, love one another, care for people, and dream as much as you want what you want to happen. But especially do what is right. Don't be like those who have killed. People who have killed us, they will face consequences. People who have acted out of anger, they will face consequences. But you can never go wrong by loving, by caring for other people. And I will think about that and think, you know, there is heaven. I just have to do my part and live this moment. And I lived in a refugee camp for 3 weeks. Then somebody came to me and told me that she knew my mom and gave me a home to live in. And every morning I have to go to look for a job. And I found a job with United Nations in Rwanda first. Later I moved to New York. And it was I would say miracle, but it is a miracle that is available to every one of us. I remember when I went to look for the job first, I had one rose, and I didn't know how do you go to the place without even having a second clothes to change. But something was always inside me. It is your soul that matters, and you will. And your decisions, what do you want? Go and make your steps. And if they say no to you, try again. It is all about love. There will always be someone who is kind, who will open the door for you. But you must continue, and especially to try to do what is right. And I found a job in the United Nations. Then after that, I moved to the US. And I remember how I became to speak, to share my story with the world. I started thinking, I need to write a book. But especially because of so many people who were asking, write a book, tell us about your story. How can you be yourself today, after all you have gone through? And I remember I went in my basement and I started typing just on the computer. It was like an obsession. The first draft of my book took me 3 weeks. The second took me 3 months. And I had a lot of discouragement. Who you think you are? You are just a refugee from Africa. I've never met an author in my life who have even wrote a book who can even tell me how they do it. All I knew was I'm in a new country and the people are telling me, tell us how you can see yourself today. And I started to ask myself, God is almighty, let me ask him. I prayed to God, I'm just going to do my part. Write this book and finish. And complain later. At least you have to do your part. And many friends, families, they were telling me, what are you doing? You don't even speak good English. How are you going to write a book? I had many doubts, like you will meet in your life as you go into this next step of your life. And 3 days later, after I finished writing, I went to a workshop. And I remember meeting a guy who was online and people were going to say hi to him. Out of curiosity, I went to say hi to him. And I realized when I reached around him that everyone had a book. They were going for him to autograph their books. And then I went to buy a book just to look like everybody. And then when he took my book, he said, how are you? I said, I'm fine. And he said, where did that accent come from? I told him, from Rwanda. And then he looks at me and said, do you know what happened there? I told him, I know. He said, where you are, you were you there? I had to tell him a little bit in 2 minutes what happened. At the end of our conversation, he looks at me and asks me, have you thought about writing a book? So that day, it was 3 days after I have just finished. I never knew what I was going to do. And I told him, I couldn't tell him like I finished. I told him I thought about that. Then after that, he told me, I promise when you finish writing your book, I will publish it. Long story short, the next 8 months that followed, this man called me. I never saw him again. He was in Hawaii. We met those 2 minutes in life. And he introduced me to his publisher, to his editor. The book came out, and 2 weeks later, it was a New York Times bestseller. I am sharing this with you among so many stories I have lived, so many experiences I have lived, to let you know that no matter what happens to you, there is hope. There is always hope. Hold on to what is good. Hold on to what is right. Follow your dreams, especially do your part. If you feel like you want to write, do it. And then look for the next step later. Our instinct pushes us to start worrying about the future. That is not here yet. But just do today and live today in a perfect way possible you can do. If you do wrong, be brave, apologize, and don't continue on the right road. But there is God. And when one door closes, there's another one that opens. Hold on to God, hold on to hope. I wish you all the best in life and know that you will make it. We are all the same, all the same. No one is better than you and no one is less than you. Respect one another, love one another especially, and just know that you are enough. Thank you so much for sharing.